Welcome back. You're still watching Power Breakfast right here on Citizen TV, and we continue with our news review this morning with Lydia Nani Untimama, aspirant for the Women Representative seat of Narok County, Wangui Ng'ang'a, aspirant for the Women Representative seat Nairobi County, and Mombi Mongai, aspirant for the MP seat Githunguri constituency in Kiambu County. Now, something related, because just before the break we were talking about the government's move to withdraw from negotiations with doctors, and something similar is also happening to do with the lecturer strike, and it's on the back page of the Daily Nation. Varsities told not to pay lecturers. More than 9,000 lecturers on strike will not get a salary. Education Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has told this to public universities, setting the stage for a huge confrontation between the institutions and the staff. We're saying generally the government has said enough is enough. Should this be the way?
The government is going through so much at this time. The drought, the strikes,
more strikes,
everything is coming. It's actually a big task for the government. Whatever kitty we're looking at for the government to have money to pay these things may not actually be realistic. But like I said earlier about the doctors, negotiation. The lecturers, it's time for them to negotiate. They've probably never gone on strike. They have before, but yes, they have before. But this reneging, like she was talking about, on the contracts, it's time for the government to actually do what they have to do.
Like I said,
they need to pay. They need to pay. They have money for some crazy things, but they don't have money for drought.
Like I said earlier, the infrastructural problems even hitting this, and this is not going to be the only sector.
This is about salary.
Like we've just determined, this is not the first time that they've had a strike. They've been having it for a long time. So again, the deeper problems here than just money.
I have a take on this. I strongly believe if there are issues that need to be addressed, we have to look at an amicable way of doing it.
Negotiation.
Yes, and these negotiations, they have to be done both from the lecturer side and the government side. If you have the right leadership from the lecturers, I believe your leaders are in a position to sit with the government and come up with a formula of how you're going to sort out the issue. But this whole thing during the election year of strike here, strike there, I think we are being blackmailed right now, because everybody needs to show that the government is now working. Let's look at it from a political angle. Why are these issues coming up right now when there is the election year? How can 4 years ago?
I know, but you know,
but it is a fact.
What she's saying is what I just said.
It is a fact.
This is the worst time for the government, the worst possible time for the government, because everybody is going to cry foul for something they want. The lecturers want money. It has nothing to do with infrastructure, this issue of lecturers. For doctors, yes, you have issues with infrastructure. You have issues with facilities that they don't have. But lecturers, it's purely simply about money.
And
they want their money added. They want their hours.
I'm just interjecting her because she's the one who's still. I'll give you an opportunity, because they've even actually listed and enumerated how much they want, the proposed new salary and vis-a-vis the current salary. So it's about money.
But I'm going back to mine. I'm going back to mine about negotiation. This is the time to negotiate for everybody. This is the time you can hold the government and tell them, give us this, then we give you both. Then we give you both.
And also I have to add,
pure and simple. That's what I'm like.
I honestly believe, as much as they're bringing it up during the election year, they have to do it in a proper manner. Otherwise, we will get the government, headed by His Excellency the President, angry because he's feeling, right now you're pushing me to a corner just to actually say that I am not performing, and yet you need more money that the government doesn't have. So it is not justified, especially for the lecturers. It is not justified. I totally feel that with the Jubilee government that we have right now, I feel that they want to push the government to a corner,
so that
it comes to let's look at the Matiang'i reforms. I believe it's a month or 2 months ago where he was talking about rescinding the charters of some universities. Reason being that they've realized that a lot of universities are really not giving the students value for money. So that's what I mean in terms of infrastructure.
Because not
necessarily public private universities. We know of so many students. I mean, you know, we know about it online, and the stories are always on the papers about how they either have to pay undercover to get the the university certificates or transcripts released. So I keep saying this is an infrastructural problem that because we did not deal with it years ago, this is the best time, like you said, for it to come out to the fore.
Okay.
So unfortunately, and I'm seeing this is not going to be the other strike that we're going to clamp down on. You're going to be seeing a lot of
the government has stood its ground. A decision set stage for renewed confrontation between institutions and staff. But Fred Matiang'i, the CS for Education, has said that has told public universities to stop paying 9,000 lecturers who are on strike. Now, because of time, I want us to move to this other headline because it's on the front page. It's an exclusive for the Standard, but because it was something in the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Yes, it has to do with divorce. Now, if you enter into a marriage planning to walk out with half of what your partner labored to acquire once the union is dissolved, think twice. A Court of Appeal judge has said that although the Constitution recognizes equality, not equity, equality between a man and a woman in marriage, this does not guarantee 50-50 sharing of matrimonial property. Now, Justice Patrick Kiage, while delivering judgment in an appeal where a separated couple was fighting over property, said that once their love life is over, each marriage partner should walk away with a share of what they contributed.
Yeah, and that's where I come in and I say, the word you've used is equality, not equity.
Yes.
Because it depends with what you brought on the table. It depends with what you came with when you're getting into the marriage. There's so many issues to be considered. Because I believe you are not justified to ask if you've not worked for it.
Yes.
But then if you have, then you're justified. One thing that I want to put across today is actually Happy Women's Day to all Kenyans. Today is Women's Day, and we have to commend all women who've been in political, social, economical background and actually circles and actually contributed towards all these angles and sectors. We have to commend them for the good job that they've done. Without the women, I'm telling you, countries would be going, I don't know, the world basically. So we have to wish everybody a happy Women's Day, and everybody in Nairobi has, and in Kenya have to, every woman around you, you have to tell them congratulations for the work that you've done. Let me finish. I was getting to that. And if you look at this caption that you have right there, it is talking more of you're not allowed to get 50-50. Now, on this particular issue, I don't want to speak about that the women are the only people who are left at home. No, even the men these days are left at home taking care of the children. But I believe if your partner has got wealth and maybe he's the one working and you're the one left at home, you should be considered. But also, not 50-50. I entirely believe that not 50, but depending on what you contributed. I can't believe a women's rep aspirant is saying that.
Yes.
I cannot believe. I'm thinking of, there's a case, I believe around 7 years ago, of Merali's. It's documented here. I think that's the one. And there's another one, Elon Musk versus Justin Musk. This is in the States. And there are more cases that we can, bring to the fore, that the judge was able to determine the financial value of the woman who happened to be the spouse in all three cases, staying at home, making sure that the home was...
They were able to quantify.
Yes, the economic value. And if I'm not wrong, in at least 3 cases that I can remember offhand, the judge was able to award the woman over half, because it wasn't for her work in the homestead, making sure that it was a warm, peaceful environment. The guy would not have been able to earn as much, be as productive as he was. So I believe when you said that it doesn't guarantee, in quotes, it gives us room, or anyone else, to maneuver and to appeal against that. But so this is in the Court of Appeal.
Yes, I think once you go to court, as long as you as you actually prove that you contributed.
Yes, keep the receipts. Make sure you keep the receipts. Make sure the receipts are in your name, women.
Well,
in fact, I think the only thing I want to say here is that to quantify is really the hard part, because village life. Receipts? What receipts are you talking about? You buy cows. I'm the villager, the Maasai villager. You buy the sheep, you buy the goats, you look after them, you tend to them for your man to go and do other things. Sometimes he's probably just in the center, Pickering story. And then he's in charge, and this is his property. So you're the one doing all the work, and he's, you know, when you get married in Maasai culture, you're given these things. You're given cows, you're given sheep, and they're supposed to belong to the woman. And you could be several wives in the family. But how do you quantify what is yours or what you've brought on board?
You can, culture.
Of course, of course. I mean that's
and how do you
everywhere.
handle the property?
The property, most of the time, the woman goes with nothing, ends up with nothing, and so this is a bit on the side of an unfair judgment, because to quantify, the woman has been there. She has looked after the children. She's gone through labor. She's looked after the children. She's the one who's been tending to the sheep, to the flock, so to speak. She's looked after her husband and made sure that he has time to go and do something else. But how do you quantify that?
Okay,
you can quantify it in the state.
And
You can't quantify it
because of time, and I'll give you an opportunity.
I'll give you an opportunity
on the
same, please.
Yes, on the same.
Because I'm thinking. Go for it, Fred. You said 50-50. Go for it, Fred. We did not even talk of women. We did not even talk of women.
Exactly, that's the question. Because it's not just women who stay at home. And that argument means that also men
yes. I don't know why we are talking of women.
You could go to Parliament and probably your spouse.
There's a lot that has changed today. Today the women are taking over, so to speak, in the homes, not from their will, but when there is a vacuum, it must be filled. And the vacuum has been created by the men. The men are not there. The men do not feed their children. The men do not look after their children. So there's a vacuum, and this vacuum has been taken over by the women. And you can find a situation where the woman is the one who has the property. The woman is the one who's the wealthy person in the family. And when the divorce comes, this 50-50 situation will also fall negatively.
Can we go back and say this? I honestly, as I said earlier, it depends with what you contributed. If we have a woman working at home, and if we have a woman taking care of the family, the woman actually taking care of the farms, like back in the village, the woman going to the farm, cultivating, coming back to the house, cooking for the husband, while the husband is uko, kwa shopping, just doing a lot of nothing, and then later on she ends up with nothing. That is something that we need to look into. But also look at, on the other hand, even the men need to be protected on this issue. It's not just the women. Everybody has to be treated equally, and it has to be a fair judgment. So for me, I strongly believe in every circumstance, in every situation, it should be fair. And if the woman has been working at home or the man has been working at home, they have to look at a way of quantifying that.
Okay. Now, Mumbi, we'll go round this way as you comment on that. Give your final comment, because our time is up. We have to give room for Cheche.
Final comment on
that or any other thing?
You know, that when it comes to the divorce law, or rather that sort of ruling, I'm hoping that it's going to be looked at again. Like I said, we haven't made, or rather I was trying to say, we haven't made as many gains as we want to as a country, but such rulings gives us an opportunity to come back and appeal and make sure that we make everything constitutional, in order that, you know, for us to gain our equal rights in everything, because that's enshrined in section, I think, 100 of the Constitution, that we have equal rights in whether it's social, economic, even work, you know, boundaries. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops.
I'd also want to add and commend all women. Today is International Women Day. I have to repeat that over and over again, just to remind all the women in this country that job well done, continue doing what you've been doing. And the women in politics, just be strong, go out there, show the men you can also be good leaders, and also make sure you put God first.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Wow. The issue of divorce, the case that we are seeing here is probably one judge who's, you know, he's human. This thing needs to go to the Supreme Court to be looked at properly, because I think it's the cases that have been there before, the precedent that has been there before has been set by situations that were there before. When they came up with 50-50, the people who came up with 50-50 were not just dreaming. It was there because it was a precedent set. And you know, once a precedent's been set, there's always the history and something
Yes.
that gives them reason for that to happen. So I think this
They should pursue
this
this power.
guy, this is a person. He's human, just like everybody else, and we need to. Now, just talking quickly
Yes.
on International Women's Day. Today is International Women's Day. I want to wish all women a happy International Women's Day. It's something that is celebrated. It's not very loud in Kenya, and I think we need women to make sure that it's recognized in Kenya. It is an achievement that we need to, the achievements that women have made so far, not yet gotten to where we want to go, but we need to get there. And to get there, each one of us has to do our small bit. Like Wangari Maathai used to say, the hummingbird situation, each one of us needs to do something small. Like today, I'm going to go to Narok, and we're going to deal with the local woman, Mashinani. I'm going to deal with the Mashinani woman so that we can celebrate the achievements she has had today. I'm going to the market.
Okay. All the best. Thank you so much, Lydia Nane Ntimama, an aspirant for the Women Representative seat, Narok County. Wangui Ng'ang'a, aspirant for the Women Representative seat, Nairobi, and Mombi Mungai, aspirant for MP in Githunguri constituency, Kiambu County, helping us look at the headlines this morning. Now, we need to give a room for Cheche, which is coming up next, and Udwa Kamimo, Mutegi Njau, and Charles Odhiambo will be hosting MPs Asman Kamama of Tiati, William Chiptum of Baringo North, and Kangogo Bowen of Marakwet East, of course discussing the issue around the volatile Baringo region. In a short while, my colleague Willis Waburu will be with the team Super Squad band, that very beautiful band that has been entertaining us this morning, to get to understand a lot more from them. It is my opportunity to say to all women out there, Happy International Women's Day. From me, it's good morning.